What's up everyone, this is EdTalenti. How are you guys doing? So for today's video, I wanted to put together a list of 5 steps that you can apply to basically all your beats, and they're really going to help you with those 808s and making them fit in your mix. As always with these tutorials, I'm trying to keep them like super straightforward and fast. I don't want to waste anybody's time, and I want you to get the most out of this. For the purpose of the video, I'm going to be working with stock plugins, so you don't need to worry about that. And yeah, let's get into it. All right, here we go. Let's get right into it. Dude, my hair is out of control today. What the hell's going on? I gotta get a haircut. All right, it doesn't matter. So this is what we're working with. I have a drum loop from my melody pack, and this is the drum loop. I have an 808 part. I have an electric piano, like a Wurlitzer. And I have a flute. All these sounds are completely untreated. I haven't done anything to them. They're just like the way they were. So we're going to go through the process. It's going to be 5 steps to try and get this sounding good and getting that 808 to really fit in this mix. So the first step is gain staging. What is gain staging? Gain staging is super important. Basically what gain staging is fixing the level of the input of all the instruments so that when they sum together, they're not clipping. So it's basically, the gist of it is keeping everything quiet. Now, when someone is not familiar with gain staging and you tell them make it quieter, they go and lower this number right here, which is the fader. Now, that's the output volume of that instrument. It's not the input volume of it. Now, imagine you're recording a guitar, right? And you have it plugged into your interface or whatever, and the sound of it, the gain of it, it's way too loud. So it's clipping, right? So now you recorded this guitar part, you recorded it clipping because the gain was too high. And even if you turn down the volume over there, nothing's going to happen. It's still going to be clipping. It's going to be clipping quieter. Like the whole thing is going to be quieter, but it's still going to be clipping. So how do we fix the input volume? It's pretty simple. We just need an input plugin and we need a gain plugin. So as far as the input plugins, I mean, every DAW's got their own, but I suggest going and downloading Expand by Voxengo. It's free, so you can just get it, install it. It's great. So I'm going to show you starting with the 808. So I'm going to pull up Expand, the plugin that I was just talking about, which looks like this. I'm going to press play and you'll see that it's clipping. Or if it's not clipping, it's really loud. As you can see right on the meter, it hits right above -6. So what we want to do for all our instruments is bring them down to about -18. That's going to be really quiet, but don't worry about that. We're going to raise the volume later. So I'm going to pull up utility here, which is Ableton stock gain plugin. Now we're just going to pull down this gain knob until we reach -18 dB. So let's press play and do that. Right about there. Now I'm not going to show you for all the instruments, but I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for all the instruments. We're good to move to step 2, which is level your sounds. Now, to level your sounds just means basically just adjusting the faders, which are now all at 0. You don't have to keep them like really quiet. And just moving them like +1, +2, -2, making like slight adjustments to the volumes so that they fit well together. I'm going to show you drums and 808, which are like the focus of this video. So what you're looking for is to keep that loud, aggressive sound of the 808 without losing the punchiness of the kick drum, like the hit of the kick drum. Right about there, it sounds pretty good to me. I can hear the kick drum nice and loud, and I can still hear the 808. All right, let's move on to step number 3. Step number 3 is applying EQs to everything. So the first thing we want to do is go on all the instruments that are not 808 and kick and cut everything that's below 200 Hz-ish. You can mess with it a little bit. Sometimes it's a little more, sometimes it's a little less. You decide. But generally, you want to keep that space below 200 Hz pretty much exclusive to the 808 and the kick drum. They're really fat and punchy sounds, especially the 808, and it just takes up everything. So if it's fighting for attention with any other sound down there, they're just going to compete and this is going to get really muddy. So I'm going to start from the E piano. Again, I'm going to be using stock EQ and stock plugins. So I'm just going to get EQ 8 from Ableton, and I'm going to pull this to right about 200. And I'm going to do the same thing for the flute. Right about there. So a little extra pro tip when you're EQing. you cut everything from the other instruments, but on your 808 and your kicks, you also want to cut everything that's below 20 hertz. Our human ears can't really hear that. It's more like a vibration that we feel in our body when the volume is loud enough. And yeah, most speakers can't even reproduce that. So cut it out because it takes up a lot of signal in your output. So by cutting that out, you're going to be able to raise the volume even louder. All right, so now let's move on to step number 4. This is using distortion on your 808. Distortion is going to make it feel like it's louder, but it's actually going to make it quieter, which is going to give you more headroom and space to do a whole bunch of stuff. Now, what is distortion? Distortion is just an effect that generates harmonics of the original frequency. So when you have your 808 and you have the original sound of it, by applying distortion, and obviously the more you apply, the more it does that, it's going to create new harmonics, so higher frequencies that are going to resonate more when you add the saturation. By applying it to the 808, you're actually going to empty out a little bit of the bottom end and you're going to push it towards the mid, which is the frequency that people can hear the most on most devices. So when they listen to it on headphones, when they listen to it on phones, in the car, anything that's not like a professional, like big, speaker with like a sub and everything, they're going to be able to hear the 808 a lot louder. They're going to perceive it as louder, even if it's actually not. So I'm going to open up my 808. Again, I'm using stock plugins. I'm going to pull up Saturator right here in Ableton, put it right there. And I'm just going to start saturating the 808. Now, what this is going to do, it's going to be raising the volume as well. So what I want to do, because I don't want to raise the volume, I want to keep it at that -18 that we set at the beginning. I'm going to change the sound by changing this drive knob right here. And then I'm going to pull down the output sound until I bring it back to -18. So let's do that. So check out the difference. This is without saturation. This is with. Now, even if you're listening to this video on your earbuds or on your phone or whatever, you should be able to hear a clear difference. Like in the first example without saturation, you probably don't even really hear the 808. And in the second one, you should hear it like nice and loud. All right, and this brings us to the 5th and last step. Now that you got it sounding like pretty good and you feel like you're getting pretty close, it's time to get off your speakers. You're probably on your speakers right now or on your good headphones. It's time to turn those off. And it's time to get to the shitty speakers. So turn off your monitors, take off your good headphones, take the crappiest speakers you can find in your house, take the crappiest earbuds you can find, go to the dollar store and pick up like dollar in-ear speakers, like the awful ones. Get those, plug them into your computer, listen to the beat. Bounce out an MP3 file, pretty low quality, send it to your phone and listen to it on there. So listen to it on the crappiest situation possible, which is often the most common situation possible. So what you're looking for in this phase is to make sure that you can hear nicely that 808 and that kick drum especially, because the other sounds are going to be probably fine. But you want to make sure that you didn't lose, by going on a smaller speaker, you didn't lose the punchiness of the kick drum and the fatness of the 808. You want to look out for those two elements. Now, if they're not quite there and you're listening on your speakers, you're listening on your little headphones, and it's not quite as punchy as you want it to be, go back into your DAW and keep messing with distortion, EQ, and levels. With those 3 things, you should be able to achieve what you're looking for. Now, obviously, there's a ton more about mixing. There's a ton more about low end. It's not a topic that you can say everything like 5 minutes. But this is kind of like a step-by-step process that I do generally with all my beats. Sometimes I do other things, sometimes I do less things, more. It depends on the situation, but these are things that I tend to do almost every time. The more you do it, the better you're going to get at adjusting the settings and being fast with the whole process and everything. But this should be really helpful. Alright, if you liked the video, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and notification bell. I'm posting videos consistently. I haven't done a tutorial in quite a while. This is the first one I do in a little bit. I've been doing a lot of cookups and I plan to post another one either tomorrow or Monday. I just love doing the cookups. They're the most fun. I like tutorials, but man, cookups are where it's at. It's so fun. So yeah, thank you for your support. Also, if you want to hit me up privately, if you want to ask a question, you want to say hi, whatever it is, Instagram is the best place to do it. Send me a DM, and as soon as I can, I will respond to you. It might take me a while, but I will respond. Alright, I guess this is it for today. Thank you so much for watching the video all the way through. I'll see you next time, and as always, be positive, and positive things will happen.